Welcome back. This is Chili Davis, and I'm back to another video. I'd like to welcome back all my subscribers and all my new viewers. This is a channel where I talk about my top stocks and we talk about crypto from time to time. If you're new, please click my subscribe button and click the notification to get my frequent updates. Well, some of the hot stocks today were in the Dow. So there's your energy stocks like Conoco Phillips was up, American Tower, a REIT was up, Capital One was up, and Nucor were up. These are mostly Dow stocks. They are in the Dow index. Nucor was up. There's a bid for the steel company, U.S. Steel. Cleveland Cliffs are all up. So some of the hot stocks in the portfolio today was ConocoPhillips up 1.98%, Capital One up 2.5%, American Tower up 1.55, and Nucor, as I mentioned, all competing. Nucor, U.S. Steel, all competing in Cleveland Cliffs to acquire U.S. Steel in a merger. Now, as far as stocks that were in the red was Palantir Technologies down 3.72%. Sound Hound, the small cap stock was down 9.44, and SoFi Technologies down 0.57. Now, mind you, this is earnings call season week. So this week later on, we will have banks start to report. SoFi does report on the 27th of January. Okay. Tesla shares were up late today in the last 30 minutes. They started to spike. They were up as much as 1.94% for a gain of $300. So that was Tesla. Now let's go over to the news. Okay, on CNBC, we have the Dow futures is up. So this is positive momentum. The S&P futures is up and the Nasdaq future markets is up. Oil is down and the US 10-year Treasury note is down in aftermarket. Now, the concern is that the bonds were up this weekend after the good job numbers were reported on Friday, and also the worry of a tax cut not coming as often. Okay, so instead of getting three tax cuts, we're looking at getting just two. All right. Also, we have the Tik Tok ban expiration date is coming around January 19th. The news says China considers selling TikTok U.S. operation to Musk. Bloomberg reports. Okay. So that's late. Users are worried about TikTok ban. Appears to be a downloading of different Chinese social media apps. SEC charges Robinhood with security violations. Brokerage to pay 45 million in penalties. Okay. There's a popular tech stock washout such as Palantir and Nvidia both drop, as I mentioned earlier in my video. Also, inflation report looming. Bank of America sees no Fed rate cut, just like I mentioned this year. Okay, so Bank of America analysts are reporting that there's possibly no Fed rate cut due to the high inflation rate. Okay, so basically the inflation rate cut would usually be to spur the economy, and only way to cool off inflation is to raise rates. Okay, so if they don't raise rates, then it will help cool off the inflation rate, right? Because the job market is actually too healthy from what the Fed can see based on the job numbers that were reported on this last Friday. Also, Netflix and Comcast among the companies donating to the LA wildfire, and how fractional hiring creates a paradigm shift in the workplace. Okay, so we're hiring people fractionally now. We're not hiring people full time. And what does it mean to the job market? All right, so let's go over to the Robinhood uh, and see how that portfolio did. Okay, today, as I mentioned, we were down for the most part. We opened up around $4,000 and 67, $4,067. And as the day crept on, aftermarket, we spiked up uh, about 0.80% for a gain of $32 in this portfolio. And it was a late day for tech. Some of the stocks that peaked after hours was Amazon. Amazon shares were up slightly. Also, Tesla shares spiked late in the day as well. Um, Nucor, as I mentioned earlier, has having to deal with competing to buy U.S. Steel. Uh, let's see if there was any other stocks. Ford shares were slightly up today, 1.14%. And let's see where Tesla went today. Like I said, Tesla did spike up. Also, we see DE or John Deere shares were up 6%. Okay. So John Deere, let's look at Tesla here. Tesla, almost sure Tesla. Tesla had a good run after hours today, about 3:30 going in. They were up 2% and they closed the day up as much as 4%. Okay, so Tesla had a unique turnaround. Of course, if you did options trading against Tesla and you had a call late in the day, you would have made out like a bandit. Okay. So Tesla shares for the day were up 2.19, and then after hours, they were up another 1.85% for a total of 4%. Okay. So Tesla shares up late in the day. Who knows? The information could have been the cyber cat, could have been anything. Okay. Never know what Elon Musk. They do have earnings call. It says Tesla shares rise over 2% after hours on news of Morgan Stanley's price target hikes. FSD breakthrough. Gary Black highlights key drivers. Okay, so it was a late in the day Morgan Stanley price target hike. Okay, so Morgan Stanley raised their guidance on Tesla based off the full service driving component of Tesla, and that got the stock going late. Okay, so Tesla shares up after hours, up over 1.85%, and late in the day, up 2%. So let's go over to my Charles Schwab and see how I closed out the day there. Okay, as I mentioned, Tesla was the top stock today, up 4.68%. Again, most of that doing with the raised price target by Morgan Stanley, and shares rose 1.6% after hours while rising 2.5 during regular trading session for a total gain of 4.68%. Also, One Main Holdings, a personal loans company, they are a dividend stock, so I've been gaining momentum with that as well. But One Main Holdings was up 3% today. Advanced Micro Devices was up 2%, and Capital One Financial, this is a credit card company, was up 3% as well. All right, so those were some good stocks. I did mention Conoco Phillips, that's an energy stock. So if you're into gas and Chevron and those type of stocks, they are Dow components and they were up as well. Okay. But the top stock was the late run in the day from Tesla, up 4.68%. I believe the shares reached back up over $400 per share. Again, the shares after hours on Sunday were trading about $380, like $87. And after today's report, they jumped back up over $400, back up, I guess, roughly $20 after the Morgan Stanley upgrade after the full FSD breakthrough report. Okay, so Tesla shares to save the day. Unfortunately, we still have stocks in the red. In the red today, we had Palantir Technologies only down 1.52%. Sound Hound shares did regain some ground. They were down as low as $12 per share, but today bounced back around $13. I think Sound Hound is out of the woods. I think that anywhere from about $12 is, the lowest they go, but they'll still hover around this. I don't know when their earnings report is, but I'm assuming soon. Remember, this is a small cap stock, so it's got quite a bit of movement to it. And then SoFi Technologies was slightly down today. Uh, for the most of the day, they were down. Looks like they gained about 0.5%. But they were trading about $13 today. They're back up around $14.22. They do report earnings on January 27th, and Nvidia shares post the CES Consumer Electronics Conference is slightly down 0.72%. Now, Last week, right before the conference, they were trading around 144. Today they're trading around 134. I don't think AI is going anywhere. So if you have not bought your Nvidia, still time to buy Nvidia. All right. I think there's a price target on 175. And Apple shares have been taking a slide as well. Apple shares were down today 0.59. They did not do as well with the iPhone sales. Who knows if AI gets going again and people do start to like the added value of artificial intelligence with Apple, that could get the stock running again too. But those were the stocks that are down: Apple, Nvidia, Sound Hound, and Palantir Technologies, all stocks that were in the red on the day. Um, Again, we look like we're going to have a tech slowdown until earnings. Okay, so we got this next week coming. We got bank earnings. Then usually we have Tesla, Apple, Microsoft. Just okay, one more. Let's go to the earnings calendar. Okay, as I mentioned, this is earningswhisper.com. Here's where you can find out which companies are reporting this month. Real quickly, we have JP Morgan set to report on January 15th. That is one of the bigger stocks, January 15th. Believe that will be this Wednesday, JP Morgan to kick off earnings call. Also, we have Citibank set to report on this Wednesday, January 15th. Also, we have Goldman Sachs. This is more of a Wall Street bank. They're reporting on Wednesday, January 15th. This is where companies on Wall Street, all publicly traded companies, start to report for the last 3 months revenue and earnings per share. Those type of numbers for the last 3 months. So this is December, November, and October, how these companies did. And then they will give a forecast. The CFO and CEO will give a forecast for the next 3 months. And let's see if that matches up with Wall Street expectations. So that will be the earnings call for those three major banks this week. Also, we got Wells Fargo as well. So this should kick off the stock market. Also, with Donald Trump coming in on next Monday, Donald J. Trump will be have his inauguration, selected as the president of the United States. So that will kick off his pro administration. And as I mentioned before, Tesla will have earnings call on January 27th. January 29th. SoFi will be on January 27th, but Tesla and many other tech companies will start around January 29th. January 29th, earnings call for Tesla at 4 o'clock Eastern. Okay, so check out Earnings Whisper to keep up with companies set to report. This will probably be the biggest earnings call of the year as we kick off Donald J. Trump's election. Plus, the outlook should be good. The last 3 months of 2024 were fantastic, and we'll see how we go into 2025. All the companies set to report, all the companies you like, such as Google, Apple, all of them will report into February. Okay, around first week of February, but Tesla and SoFi, who I follow on this channel, will report January 27th and January 29th. So I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and I hope to see you in the next video.
I ingest, I retain, assess, and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society.